At 3:03 a.m. this morning, a candle in your name was lit by someone you cut off years ago. They still think you belong to them. Archangel Michael says, you were not meant to find this out yet. But something has stirred the balance. Something sacred was tampered with at 3:03 a.m., long before the rest of the world opened its eyes. A candle bearing your name flickered into life in a darkened room. The hands that lit it belonged to someone who once wept for your attention, someone who now whispers your name like an unfinished prayer. This is not just about memory, it's a claim, a spiritual binding they've tried to awaken again. They truly believe you belong to them. Not in the way of love, but in the way obsession carves its name into silence. This is not nostalgia. This is possession, disguised in soft ritual. A strange wind moved through your space around that hour. You might have felt unsettled. You might have shifted in your sleep. That wasn't just a dream, it was energy traveling toward you, seeking to plant itself. Archangel Michael says, you have no idea how far they went to feel close to you again. The candle was only the beginning. The moment it was lit, an old journal was opened, one that hasn't seen daylight since the last time you blocked their number. Type Amen to get blessing 333. They whispered your name into smoke. They placed an object on the altar, a piece of clothing they never gave back. It still carries your scent, and that is what keeps their illusion alive. That is what keeps their control breathing. There was no prayer. Only a promise. A vow that if you ever open your heart to someone new, they would feel it from miles away. They have not healed. They have studied you silently, watching from shadowed places, unseen profiles, mutual connections, even second-hand conversations. Every time you rose, they grew colder. Not because they wished you well, but because they couldn't understand why you thrived without them. They expected your downfall. They waited for you to crawl back. But you never did. And that's when the ritual began. They found someone who believes in dark bonds, someone who whispered that a candle, a name, and an intention could stir the universe. And that's exactly what they tried to do. They stood barefoot. They timed the flame. They murmured what they couldn't say to your face. And the energy was released. Type Amen to get blessing 707. But what they don't know is this, you are not unprotected. That candle didn't travel into emptiness. It met a wall of divine light. A shield formed by every tear you cried, every boundary you honored, every time you chose peace over pain. Their spiritual thread cannot reach you like it once did. But the attempt, that is dangerous. Not because they're strong, but because desperation invites strange forces. Your photo was used. A real one. Taken without your knowing. From a place they shouldn't have had access to. That image now rests beneath the candle, and it is still smoldering in meaning. Archangel Michael says, they want your attention, even if it comes through your fear. They want your energy. Not to destroy you, but to pull from you what they've lost in themselves. You are their symbol of unfinished dreams. You became their obsession, not their love. And this candle, this ritual, isn't affection. It's a chain they're trying to repair. Type Amen to get blessing 999. This isn't the first time they've done this. But it is the most powerful attempt. And they timed it for a reason. That hour, 3:03 a.m., was the same hour you once comforted them during a breakdown. That memory never left them. They hold on to it like a rope dangling from a collapsing rooftop. The room they lit it in is cold, barely furnished, filled with relics of the past. Your past. Their walls still carry your echoes. Their mirror still reflects the you they refuse to let die. They refuse to believe you've moved on. In their mind, you're just lost, not gone. In their world, you're not free, you're just wandering. But you have become too bright for their shadows. You have become too grounded for their storms. Still, they keep lighting flames, hoping one will pull you back. They've written your name inside books meant for conjuring memory. They've circled dates. They've studied your zodiac. They believe the universe owes them your return. But Archangel Michael says, you owe them nothing, especially not your soul. Type Amen to get blessing 555. The candle's wax ran down like blood. A sign of an imbalanced offering. They took something from your past, a token, and fused it into the flame. That moment, a piece of your past vibrated. Something small in your room may have fallen, shifted, or cracked. That was no coincidence. That was contact. A trace attempt. Your spirit caught it. You may have felt drained when you woke. You may have felt a name in your mind you hadn't thought of in years. That's how it starts. That's how they test the link. But your soul didn't respond the way they hoped. You didn't break. You didn't call. You simply felt, and kept walking. That resilience, they didn't expect it. So now, they will try again. Archangel Michael says, you are protected but must remain alert. Energy doesn't just visit, it seeks permission. Do not entertain nostalgia. Do not touch the old letters. Do not scroll through photos. They are triggers. They are anchors. They are waiting for you to slip just enough to slide back into their storm. Type Amen to get blessing 888. They still think you belong to them. They refer to you as mine when they speak about you. They don't say your name out loud, they chant it internally like a possession. They have told no one about this ritual. It's their secret magic, their silent attempt at resurrection. But you are not dead. You are renewed. They think their candle brought them closer. But in truth, it exposed their last ounce of powerlessness. Because no matter how many flames they light, they cannot rebuild what you buried. They cannot rebuild what they broke. Their whisper has no echo in your temple anymore. Their memory holds no seat at your sacred table. Archangel Michael says, this was their final move, their last try to summon you without speaking. They lit the candle with hope. But you are fireproof now. Type Amen to get blessing 222. Every step you take forward now dims their ritual further. The candle's wax has hardened. The photo is curled. The flame struggled in the end. And the smell of burnt incense now mixes with regret. Let them sit in that silence. Let them wrestle with their unmet intentions. Let them learn that obsession is not ownership, and spiritual intrusion comes with a heavy toll. You must cleanse. A simple act. Water on your hands, salt at your doorstep, a thought in your mind, return to sender. It's done. They felt the block. They felt the rejection not just in emotion, but in spirit. And they cried. They broke. Not because they lost you now, but because they realized they lost you long ago. Type Amen to get blessing 144. You are not just a memory. You are a divine evolution. You are not a candle's prisoner. You are the lightning beyond its reach. Let this be the end of the old rope they've clung to. Let this be the seal that prevents their shadows from crawling under your door. Let this be your new chapter, unburned, unbothered, untouchable. If you wish to express your support further, you have the option to give super thanks, with contributions of up to $20. The moment your soul refused to respond, something cracked inside them. Not in the physical world, but in a spiritual echo chamber they built around your memory. They never prepared for your silence to be that loud. They thought they could tether your name to wax and fire. They believed memory was a rope you'd climb back on. But what they didn't know is that you were reborn the day you chose distance over chaos. Every spiritual boundary you placed as holding. Every piece of closure you gathered as forming walls too tall for their reach. What they call connection is nothing more than a haunting echo of a story you stopped reading long ago. Type Amen to get blessing 666. The room where the candle was lit now feels colder. A draft moves even when the windows are shut. They are not just haunted by your absence, they are haunted by the fact that no force could replicate your presence. Archangel Michael says, you are not bound by their longing. You've already paid the karmic debt. You loved. You forgave. You moved. They have made their soul heavy by trying to pull you backward. But yours became light by rising. They wanted you to feel something, anything. A flicker, a chill, a memory. But the only one trembling now is them, as their energy slowly collapses into void. They used red threads, black cloth, whispers soaked in wine. All rituals built on desperation. But desperation never births miracles. It births spiritual consequences. Type Amen to get blessing 121. You may still feel flashes, names appearing in thought, sudden songs from the past, moments that feel too specific. Do not engage. These are remnants, not signs. These are fading smoke, not messages. Your angels are stationed around you now. Not watching, but protecting. Not waiting, but guarding. This intrusion was the last permitted breach. From now on, their access is revoked. They looked into a flame to see your future, but only saw their past. They tried to bring you back, but only pulled shadows into their own path. And now their space feels different. Not holy. Not warm. But distorted. Because you were the light they lost, and now they must sit with darkness they lit for themselves. Type Amen to get blessing 303. Archangel Michael says, you are not responsible for the dreams they refuse to let die. You are not a portal to their healing. You are not a character in their script anymore. You are the miracle they mistreated. You are the answered prayer they misused. And now that you've become unreachable, they confuse absence with cruelty. They called upon forces to manipulate your spirit, but forgot your spirit is covered in divine armor. That flame was not a call, it was a warning. Because even angels can burn if summoned by corrupted intentions. They will dream of you now, but not in romance, in realization. They will see your face, not in longing, but in loss. They will remember your voice, not with hope, but with ache. Type Amen to get blessing 818. You have crossed a threshold. One they cannot follow you through. You've stepped beyond their reach. That's why the rituals grow more frantic. That's why they lit the candle. That's why they invoked your name. But your name is no longer a spell they can use. It is a shield. It is a sword. It is wrapped in light that cannot be undone. They will likely try again. One last time. Maybe another candle. Maybe another chant. Maybe a message sent through someone mutual. But each time, the failure will be stronger. Their access is denied. Your aura has been sealed. They will whisper to your memory, but no echo will return. Archangel Michael says, you have been called forward, not back. Let them stay behind, tangled in the cords of their own past. You, chosen one, are moving with grace now. The path is clear. The interference has been identified, and the final cord has been cut. Type Amen to get blessing 171. Soon you will notice how much lighter you feel. As if a weight you didn't know you carried has lifted. That's the residue of their spiritual reach finally falling away. They are watching still. Maybe online. Maybe through others. But their power is fading. Their obsession is starving without your energy to feed it. They will search for something else to fill the void. But nothing will match the purity they mishandled when they had your presence. You were the gift they misread. You were the light they assumed would always return. But even candles melt. And now theirs is nothing but smoke and regret. Let the silence between you remain sacred. Let it be the protection you earn with every step away. Let it be your triumph. Type Amen to get blessing 606. And if, by chance, they speak your name again, know that it holds no power unless you return the sound. And you will not. You are busy building new peace. You are sculpting new joy. You are not a ghost walking backward. You are a soul that learned to run toward destiny. Let them light 1,000 more candles. None will reach your flame. Let them cry into journals. None of their tears will resurrect what is rightfully buried. Archangel Michael says, you are not forgotten, you are protected. Not everyone who remembers you deserves access to your spirit. The chapter has been closed. The ashes are cold. And the name they chant no longer lives in their world. It lives in a higher realm, surrounded by blessings, not burdens. This is your confirmation, you are free. Keep walking. Keep rising. Keep guarding your light. The candle was lit, but it didn't bring you back. It pushed you further forward. You are unreachable now. And that is your greatest protection. That flame died out before sunrise. But the energy it stirred tried to linger. Like smoke that seeks to curl into your breath, it searched for a crack, but found none. Because your spiritual armor has been reinforced by every lesson you learned. Every boundary you protected. Every door you closed and refused to reopen. They thought they were awakening love. But what they disturbed was their own unrest. They knocked on a door that has been sealed not by fear, but by healing. Type Amen to get blessing 404. The room they used to light the candle now carries a heaviness. They keep returning to it, hoping to replicate the sensation they felt that night. But it's not the same anymore. The energy has grown stale, the silence more suffocating. They thought the flame would bridge the distance. But the truth is, it only illuminated how far you've traveled. They didn't summon your spirit, they summoned their own shadow. They may even try to visit places where your presence once lived. They might walk paths you once walked. They believe retracing your steps will help them rewrite history. But the footprints you left behind have long been washed away by time and transformation. They are chasing echoes in a world that no longer includes them. Archangel Michael says, they were warned spiritually before lighting that flame. They were told in dreams, in signs, in subtle shifts, that you were not to be summoned. But obsession speaks louder than wisdom in the ears of the desperate. Type Amen to get blessing 727. That flame, though real, was never meant to hold your name. Your name has evolved. It is now written in realms where no human hand can reach. Your spirit is guarded, not caged. Watched, not owned. Even their dreams are haunted by the truth, they do not have permission anymore. You revoked it when you chose peace over chaos. You reclaimed it when you stopped explaining yourself to the unworthy. They sat by that candle for hours, waiting for a sign. A flicker. A sound. Anything. But the only thing they received was stillness. And in that stillness, they were faced with the truth: your energy is no longer attached to their name. You are not returning. You are not remembering. You are not theirs. Type Amen to get blessing 717. And now, they carry the weight of their own ritual. They invited spirits, but did not control what responded. Their room feels different not because you arrived, but because something else did. They called your name into darkness, and the light did not answer. But something hollow did. Now they sleep less. Their mind races. They feel watched, but it is not you watching them. It is the emptiness they created by trying to play with forces beyond their control. They disturbed the air around your name. And now the very silence echoes louder than your presence ever did. Archangel Michael says, your name is sacred, and only those aligned with truth may carry it forward. They tried to force remembrance. But what they ended up with was reflection. A reflection that tells them the truth they tried to avoid: they are alone in this obsession. They built a shrine in the darkness, thinking they could resurrect something divine. But you are not in that room. You are not in their ritual. You are not in the candle wax. You are in freedom. You are in forward movement. You are in the arms of your future, not trapped in the grip of their haunted past. Type Amen to get blessing 838. They may pretend they've let go. But every time your name is spoken in their mind, the flame reignites in their chest. Not a warm flame, but a bitter one. One that reminds them of what they lost. They scroll through your pictures in silence, hoping to feel the same power they once had when you replied. But your spirit has pulled so far away that even your image feels unfamiliar to them now. That's what spiritual detachment looks like. You're no longer a person in their life. You are now a force they cannot touch, only watch. And that drives them mad. Archangel Michael says, you must not reach back, even with compassion. This is not about cruelty. It's about closure. You cannot soothe a wound you didn't cause. You cannot fix a grip that bruised you. They lit that candle to open a door. But it was slammed shut by your higher self. And now they sit alone in the ashes of their expectations. The smell of burnt wax has stained their space. The photo they used is curling at the edges. The name they whispered has left their reach. And you, chosen one, are walking into a horizon they'll never see. They tried to freeze your memory in time, thinking the past could still obey them. But your memory evolved. Your energy shifted. You are no longer the same person who once cried over their absence. Now they cry over your silence. Their obsession has turned into a private storm. One they hide behind polite smiles and subtle glances. But behind closed doors, they are unraveling. The rituals are not working. The candles are burning out faster. The smoke no longer responds. Archangel Michael says, they keep searching for ways to pull you back without realizing you were never theirs to own. They talk to shadows. They speak your name like a locked door waiting to creak open. But your soul has already stepped into sunlight. and it cannot be lured back into shadows. Type Amen to get blessing 919. They believe that you are just a feeling away, a thought away, a flame away. But the gap between you and them has become more than emotional, it is now spiritual. And spiritual gaps cannot be crossed with longing alone. They saw your photo recently. And they paused. Not because they missed you, but because they didn't recognize you anymore. You glowed. You seemed unreachable. You had that light they never thought you'd find without them. And that realization shattered something inside them. Because now they know, you didn't just move on, you elevated. The more they chase your shadow, the more they get lost in their own. They have burned candles, spilled words, whispered memories. But you are untouchable now. Their fingers can't grasp what their spirit already lost. Type Amen to get blessing 202. They are starting to forget the sound of your laughter. The warmth of your voice. And that scares them more than anything. Because it means their grip is not just weakening, it's vanishing. They tried to keep you alive in ritual. But you were never meant to live in memory. You were meant to live in destiny. And you are already walking toward it. Archangel Michael says, you are guarded not just by angels, but by your own growth. Your strength is now your gate. Your boundaries are your walls. Your healing is your sword. Even if they try again, it will only backfire further. Every attempt to summon you will invite only more silence. Every flame will flicker out faster than the last. Every whisper will be swallowed by the void. They are beginning to realize, this is what true disconnection feels like. They lost you for real. Type Amen to get blessing 939. You are no longer the lesson. You are the testimony. You are no longer the ache. You are the miracle. And they can no longer reach you. They will scroll through your presence online like a stranger peering through a window. Watching your joy. Watching your rise. Watching your glow. But never again will they be part of the view. Let them light every candle in the world. Let them speak your name into wind. Let them walk barefoot into spiritual rooms. It will not matter. You have crossed over into protection so divine, that even the sound of your name now echoes back as fire. You are not for summoning. You are for soaring. And so, as the last wax from that candle cools into silence, as their hope curls into ash, and as their memory loses grip, you keep walking. Archangel Michael says, this was not just their final ritual, it was your final release. You owe them nothing. Your future awaits. You are no longer their memory. You are your own miracle.